Good afternoon, everyone. Meteorologist John Hominuk with New York Metro Weather, here to provide you with another briefing on Tropical Storm Isaias, which is currently moving northwestward, I guess by definition, towards the Carolinas, and will make its way up the East Coast rather quickly over the next 24 hours. Expected to impact the New York City metro area from later this evening, Monday, into Tuesday, with several different weather hazards, and we're just going to go over what we can expect here in the New York City area and surrounding areas as well. So the current warnings and alerts that are in place, there are several, but the main ones to focus on are the flash flood watch, which indicates the possibility of flash flooding across the area from late Monday night into Tuesday. And that obviously is an impactful alert because you want to be on the lookout for the potential for flooding, especially if you live in a flood-prone area. And then the tropical storm warning, which includes the New York City metro and surrounding areas, especially along the coast of New Jersey, New York, Long Island, and Connecticut, for the likelihood of tropical storm conditions with heavy torrential rainfall, wind gusts over 40 to 70 miles an hour, and obviously tropical storm conditions with rough surf and seas and coastal flooding near the area beaches. Developments today, not much has changed in regards to Tropical Storm Isaias. The storm fluctuating in strength and appearance. It did weaken a little bit, but now has gotten itself kind of back together a little bit this morning. The main thing, there is now strong agreement in regards to the system's track and strong agreement with regards to the system's impacts in the New York City area, and confidence is now high that multiple impacts will occur. Here is the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center as of 8 a.m. There's a new one out at 11, but we wanted to get this video out to you as soon as possible. And the system still expected to strengthen to near hurricane strength as it approaches the South Carolina and North Carolina coastline later this evening, and then move northward with a track very close to or perhaps just west of the New York City metro area on Tuesday afternoon. Visible satellite imagery shows you the storm this morning, and you can see the western side of this system remains relatively unimpressive, and the storm itself doesn't really look like a very strong tropical system, but still very heavy rainfall occurring and strong wind gusts occurring near this storm, with the anticipation that the system will strengthen a bit and get itself together as it moves northward towards the coast of the Carolinas later today. Here's the tracks as of last night and this morning, and you can see pretty good agreement here. The storm has moved up here into the waters south of South Carolina and is then expected to move northward to a position near New York City on Tuesday. But there's an important thing we want to discuss, and the question that many people have been asking is, why are we expecting impacts already now, Monday night? And why is the system expected to kind of strengthen and become a little bit more of an issue than what it is right now? And the answer is these jet dynamics. So here is Isaias this afternoon, and we want to focus you on this upper level jet, which is very strong over New England. And what that does is it adds to lift, and it helps advect moisture from this system up into the northeast United States. And so as a result, what's going to happen later this afternoon and evening is showers and thunderstorms are going to develop throughout the northeast, and Isaias is going to be into a better dynamical position for strengthening. Even if it is a post-tropical cyclone, it will be allowed to deepen because of this atmospheric setup over New England. And so what's forecast to happen is the storm is forecast to move northward, inland over the Carolinas, and then back to the north and east over the New Jersey and New York City area, while deepening as a low-pressure system and becoming more of a dynamic storm, thanks to this upper jet and this overall setup here in the atmosphere. So later this evening, again, we talked about the potential for a tropical moisture to move up into the area, and that is exactly what forecast models are suggesting. Showers and storms, some of them could be severe later this afternoon and evening. This is a simulated radar for 9 o'clock p.m., but don't pay too much attention to the actual specific details. What you want to focus on is the likelihood that showers and storms will form after sunset tonight. And then obviously, as the actual center of Isaias moves up the coast, things will get even worse. This is 2 o'clock on Tuesday, and you can see lots of extremely heavy precipitation in this band of potential strong thunderstorms within the system itself, with wind and heavy rain and flooding all throughout the area on Tuesday afternoon. So obviously the big threat is heavy rain. We've kind of repeated that over and over. And so if you live in a flood-prone area, now's the time to have a plan in place. And, we can't state that enough. But there is a threat for strong wind gusts as well. And when Isaias moves northward, whether it moves into western New Jersey or central New Jersey or wherever it tracks in this general vicinity, it's going to be pulling southeast winds into the area shoreline. So New Jersey, Long Island, New York Harbor. And that's why there is some concern for the storm surge. Even though tides are not, the high tide is not going to be matched up with the strongest winds here. Whenever you have strong, and I believe this was a question that was asked on Twitter, whenever you have a period of these strong southeast winds kind of funneling into New Jersey or into Long Island or into New York Harbor, what happens is the water kind of builds up and moves into the area. So the potential does exist for some storm surge and some coastal flooding in this area here along the New Jersey and New York area beaches, as well as Connecticut later on, as a result of this southeasterly fetch with the system inland over New Jersey. And in addition, the tropical storm force winds are likely on Tuesday afternoon, moving up the New Jersey coast as the system comes northward, and then impacting Long Island as well as the storm makes its move towards the New York City area. So we have covered the rain, we've covered the winds, and there's also an additional threat. And with the presence of instability in the atmosphere, so we're looking at available potential, convective available potential energy, which is just fancy term for the atmosphere is unstable. The potential will exist for isolated, weak tornadoes, a couple of water spouts off the coast. And this is something that, occurs fairly frequently in tropical systems, but it's just tropical systems don't take this track in our area very often. So we wanted to note the potential for these tornadoes. You'll probably see a couple of tornado warnings tomorrow in the area as these weak tornadoes move around, because there's so much wind shear in the atmosphere as this tropical system moves up the coast. And when you have instability that is, pretty substantial for a tropical storm, that instability and those shear profiles can act to cause these little storms to rotate. And that's what we're looking out for tomorrow afternoon, in addition to the heavy rain and wind gusts and coastal flooding concerns. But again, the main threat is rain. Ensembles continue to suggest the potential for several inches of rain in the New York City area and just west of the New York City area as well, as Isaias moves up the coast. So what can you do to prepare? We talked about this yesterday. This is the same slide from yesterday. Not much has changed. First thing to do is have a plan. So know what you and your family are going to do in case you need to move around. If you live in a flood-prone area, this is especially true. Make sure you have a plan in place. You don't need to scramble and react and freak out. Have a way to get warnings. So if a tornado warning is issued, tropical storm warnings have been issued already, but have a way to get these weather warnings on your phone, your TV, internet, and radio. And of course, have supplies. You want to be sure that you have enough of whatever you might need in your house, whether it's coffee, Band-Aids, toilet paper, who knows what it is. You want to have those supplies. You want to be able to get to it in case you can't for a couple of days. Most of this stuff is basic. We're not expecting this to be a life-changing event, but we want to make sure that people are prepared just in case things do go awry a little bit. And again, just to cover the hazards again, rain and flooding are the main concern throughout the area. If you live in a flood-prone area, you should have a plan in place. You should know where to go in case flooding does occur, as we do expect several inches of rain. Strong winds near the area coastlines, and really throughout the area, but strongest near the coast with gusts over 70 miles an hour, and then tornadoes and water spouts a possibility as well as the storm moves through the area. So just to review the timing one more time, expecting heavy rain with showers and storms from Monday evening after sunset, continuing through Tuesday afternoon with the potential for flooding, strong winds, and a few tornadoes throughout the area. Stay tuned for more updates. We will have a lot more as we go through the rest of the day today, and future video briefings and live streams to come as Isaias approaches New York City. Take care, guys.